Daith da, Ewi Nagan. Welcome to podcast number 27. Well, that's another week been and gone. They just fly by so quick. Since I spoke to you last, on the Saturday, I pretty much worked all day actually. And then building up for me long run on the Sunday, which was me 18-mile run. And I never look forward to these long training runs, so I got to psych myself up. And I actually left to go for my run. I'd say it was about 10:15 on Sunday morning. So I drove through Slades and then up the hill and down through Bazion. Got in that a brilliant name, Bazion. I don't know, I ought to look up to see where that came from actually, but yeah, I love that name. And down, and I was going to run from Polbrock. So I parked up there in the car park, got out the car, and my phone started going. And this was about 10:30. So I answered the phone, and it was a nursing home to say that we'd had a call. So back in the car, back home, get changed, and then I had to retrace my steps. I think I got back out to Polbrock again, well, about 3 hours later. And then I managed to complete the run. It was, okay. It was not too bad. The last few miles was a bit tiring, but managed to do it okay. And I know James, he did a 16. No, he was going to do 16 yesterday, I think it was, but he had a bit of a niggle with his knee, I think after about 13 miles. And it is always worrying when you get in this close to the marathon. If you pick up an injury, it was really worrying, but hopefully it is nothing. But yeah, the training's going fine, and thank you everyone so far who've donated for the Just Given for Fleet. It's been brilliant, and I'll say if anybody else wants to, just go on Just Given, David and James Bray for Fleet, and any donation would be proper. So then on Sunday evening, sat down, had me tea, and then we did have a couple more calls. So I think I actually got to bed, I think it was about 10 to 1 Monday morning. And then obviously up again for the work week, which we were at Glyn Valley most of the week, but we did go to Lanivet during the week. And it was lovely. We had the bell ringers there, the full team, ringing the bells before and after, and it was a lovely sound. I think their captain of the tower, Mr. Williams, I think he would have been quite happy with the sound that they was making. One thing I forgot to mention last week was in the previous week, we did have a meeting of the committee of the Wadebridge Slate Club. And I don't know, perhaps some of you in Wadebridge will know what 'tis all about, but I know that these clubs was set up a long time ago, all over the country, I think. And the Slate Club here in Wadebridge, I was talking to our president today, dear John Champion, now well into his 90s, but still going strong. And he said that the Wadebridge Slate Club, he thinks, actually started in 1935. The aim of the club was, because I don't think there was any social security or sickness benefit back then, so all the men would pay in so much a week, and then if any of them was off poorly, then they could claim money from the Slate Club. And John was pretty sure that you had to pay £1 a week, and then if you was off sick, you could get 10 bob a week in sickness pay. He can remember there was a chap down Riversdale opposite the gasworks there, or as affectionately it was always known in here as Gasworks Terrace, and he used to run the club for quite a while. And he said there were different venues, the Swan Hotel, Wadebridge Social Club, when it was actually located up above Lang's Fish and Chip Shop. And then after that, the Social Club moved down to Fair Park Road. And 'twas there in later years when Father was the secretary. I can remember he would go there. The meetings would be once a month on a Friday between 7 and 8 p.m, where people would go down to pay their money. John himself joined the Slate Club in 1955, And he can remember there was Norman Sleeman. He run it for about 20 years. And also he said Dick Moore. And he used to collect the union money as well for the railways. He worked on the railway line, and he had his little box there, and he would also collect all the Slate Club money for all the men that worked on the railway in Wadebridge. Father actually joined the committee before he became undertaker, and I can't remember half of the names of the committee members over the years, but there's a few that I do remember, and obviously not all in the right sort of order, like dear Bernie Richards, who Bernie used to work for us as well. He was one that would always meet with Father, or Charlie as well, that worked for us, because Charlie run it for, well over 20 years. I don't know if it's 26 years, I think. Then there was Bill Berry, Mike Sims, Dick Lang, Lloyd George. And there is a saying, I don't know where the blooming saying come from. It said, Lloyd George knew my father, father knowed Lloyd George. But 'twasn't about that Lloyd George. I think 'twas about the politician Lloyd George. But I remember Lloyd, he lived up Wellington Place. I remember him very well. And obviously the committee today, John Champs, he's the president. And then Char is still on the committee. Myself, Ken Rillstone, Phil Blake, and we've now been joined by Jill Chapman. I must admit, we last year was going through a little worrying stage because Char, as I say, he'd done it for 25 or so years, and he felt that the time was come to pack up. So we sent a message out to all the members if anyone would like to take over. And of course, we didn't get anyone immediately that came forward. And I was quite happy to do it because I know Father had done it. But I'm afraid in the changing times we live in, it's thought that these days there might have been a conflict of interest sort of thing. So that kind of ruled me out. But then we was very pleased when dear Jill Chapman, which is Charlie Philp's maid, she come forward and said yes, she would do it. And so the Slate Club will be continuing, and Jill now is actually collecting any membership money, and it's she's down at the John Betchman Centre every Friday from 2 till 4. So if you've got any queries at all or any new members want to join, just pop down to see Jill and she can give you all the information. But thankfully, 'tis still going on. And I say these days, the money paid out, it goes towards the funeral. And 'twas a long time ago that actually changed from being sick pay to actually going towards the funeral. All the time when Father was doing it, I can remember it was for the funeral. So it was definitely a long time ago. And John was actually saying today that there was a well-known undertaker in Wadebridge in the past, and when somebody would ring up, he would say, sorry to hear your news, or I'm in the Slate Club, or no. As the years have gone on, things have changed, and nowadays, well, I'd say for quite a few decades now, really, there have been funeral plans, and it's something that we've done, well, really right back from the 1980s. And the plans that we offer, they're through Golden Charter, which is a trust which was set up just to support all local family independent firms like ourselves to provide these funeral plans. And we meet up with people. The one that we do is called Independent Way. We'll find out what people would like, and then we find out the costings, what it would be down here with our local costs, and go back to the family and go from there. And if they want to carry it out, we then forward the money to the trust fund, so it is nice and safe. And it is quite a popular thing, actually. We see average 2, maybe 3 families a week talking about their funeral plans. And also, some, they say to us, well, we got an insurance policy. We don't really need a plan, but can you take our details down? So we've got details there of what people would like for their funeral. We keep that free of charge. So when the time comes, it is a help to the family. I know that the worst thing for us is to go into a house and the family being left and haven't got a clue what the person who's passed away, what they wanted. And it just makes it a lot easier for people. And the actual plans that we've got and the details we keep, they can be as in-depth as you want, really. We've got the types of coffin right down to the music, the donations and everything. And it's, quite a useful thing, really. It does help people out at the sad time when someone does pass away. I don't quite know if they still run the awards now. There was always the Funeral Planner of the Year award, and I think COVID played havoc with that, really. But before that, I think there was, for the whole of the Southwest, we were the winners. I think it was 5 years out of 6. We had quite a roll, really, which was, quite good. So I don't know where they'll be starting up again now or no. Be interesting to see. So there we have it. So as for the Cornish word of the week, I thought, seeing as we did conduct a funeral in Llanivet Church this week, I would use the name Llanivet, of the village. And that comes from the Cornish two words, Lan, and that means sacred enclosure, and Neves, and that's the pagan sacred place. So Llanneves, that's what it comes from, Llanivet. But if you've never been there before, it is a lovely little village, got a little green there and everything. Nice pub, fish and chip shop, but lovely place. As far as me Cornish dialect of the week, I was wondering what I was going to say, and then I was looking on the news, and of course Boris, our ex-Prime Minister, he was having a bit of a grilling by a Parliament committee this week, and as you know, with Boris's hair, it always look a bit roughy ways, like it could do with a good old comb, really. And that reminded me of the Cornish dialect, where if you're looking a bit like that, a bit unkempt, untidy, they'd say to you look like you've been dragged through edge backwards. So that's the one for this week. You look like you've been dragged through edge backwards. So there we have it. So I hope you have a good weekend. I'm going to have to do a little run tomorrow, perhaps 3 miles, because I was meant to do 5 tonight, but I run out of time, and I had this to record as well. And then, of course, I'll be gearing up for me 19 miles running on Sunday. So think of me, and don't forget the clocks go forward too. So there we have it. But I'll speak to you again next week. I wish you well. Do Guinness.